Happy Thursday, everybody. A Thursday, November 16th, 2023 edition of the Southside Beat. He's Chris Halicke. I'm Corey Crisan. Jumping right into the intro. No fanfare, no nothing from me today.
Mm-mm.
We're
Just
moving today.
we're right to business.
we're moving today, I'm telling you.
Come
As
on,
you
don't
as you all
ever
know.
admit that. Just say I hit the like button. You don't have to admit that you almost forgot. Just I hit the like button.
Mm-hmm. As long as you remember, better late than never.
No.
Please remember to leave a like. Please remember to share. We're live every day, Monday through Friday, weekday, from 3 to 3:30 Eastern on DK Pittsburgh Sports on YouTube. And then, of course, on playback, where podcasts are found. Swan says it here in the chat, live on YouTube. Another active news day. It sure was. And, we're, of course, going to talk about the Browns, Chris and I are, because – this is a really unique AFC North matchup this weekend, given basically a lot of injuries. Obviously, Nick Chubb being out for the season changes just about everything for Cleveland to a degree at least. But there's some pretty significant ones on the Steelers side of the ball too. Now, everything starts in this game with the lack of Deshaun Watson. It has been revealed by Kevin Stefanski that Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie out of UCLA, is going to make the start for the Browns. There's a really lengthy injury report that came out on Wednesday. We haven't seen the Thursday report for either side yet. But at least for both teams, there are injuries stacked up pretty much everywhere. And to me, Chris, this game on Sunday in Cleveland is going to give a way different feel than the game in Pittsburgh did back in week 2.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be not that the week 2 matchup was pretty, because it wasn't. But if it can be uglier than the one in week 2, I think it's going to be. I'm talking about Steelers not being able to move the football against Cleveland's very, very, very good defense, arguably the best in the league right now. And then obviously the Browns dealing with everything that they've got going on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they're still a good running team, but man, I mean, no Nick Chubb, no Jack Conklin, no Deshaun Watson. I mean, one of their not Batonio, but the other guy, I can't, name is escaping me right now.
Whiteteller.
Thank you, God. He's on the he's kind of in that range of being like, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? That would obviously be a big loss on the Cleveland offensive line. DeJuan Jones, kind of the same thing. So that's the right side of Cleveland's offensive line. I mean, you're looking at. I mean, it could be an ugly game. It's an AFC North game, so it already has the potential to be ugly, but it could be even uglier than most people might be expecting.
Now, for Pittsburgh, obviously with no Cole Holcomb, no Quan Alexander, but also this could be no Micah Fitzpatrick or Keanu Neal. And today after practice, safety Trenton Thompson said he's being told to be ready. And linebacker Michael Walker, Anthony Walker plays for the Browns. Michael Walker told me yesterday he was told to be ready. So the Steelers are really dipping into the well here as far as the practice squad goes for depth. And the impacts for the Steelers defense, Chris, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, not having the 2 starting inside linebackers available and then having to go to Landon Roberts, Mark Robinson, and likely Michael Walker for snaps up the middle. But now it's about having 2 of the 3 starting safeties out with Minkah and Neal. And Teryl Austin said today that Minkah and Keanu would both be game time type decisions. Of course, Minkah's been dealing with the hamstring issue, and Keanu Neal had a rib injury sustained Sunday against the Packers. So there's going to be a lot of shifting around for the Steeler defense. And, there was some thought that maybe Keanu Neal takes some snaps up the middle, at least in coverage downs as a pseudo middle linebacker, almost like a hybrid. But if he can't go, that's going to force, obviously DeMonte KZ has his role, but then you're going to have to see a little more from Elijah Riley, a little more from Trent Thompson. Those sound like the 2 right now. Maybe a little Miles Killebrew. Those sound like the 2 right now that if Minkah and or Neal can't play, then those are going to be the ones that have to step up for the Steelers on Sunday.
Yeah. And just real quick, I've seen this name keep coming up, not just here, but on social media too.
Oh, come on.
Don't bring back. No, it's not happening. Miles Jack is not coming back. First off, he's retired. And once a player retires, I mean, they're not in football shape. They might not even be in shape. I might be in better shape than Miles Jack right now. I'm obviously I'm saying that a little tongue in cheek, but I at least know that I play hockey once a week. I don't know what Miles Jack is doing. He could have just been like, I'm done with football and that's it. I'm never doing anything ever again. I don't know. You don't know that. And then plus, whenever you talk about bringing a guy in who's been retired for half a season, even a guy like JJ Watt, who obviously looks like he could still play.
There's the JJ Watt comment from
Dominique. It's like, dude, no, it's just not a good decision. It's just not. I mean, regardless of how good they were no, it's not a good decision.
I call this practice squad syndrome, and this isn't about the players. This is about people that watch and are fans of the team. And I'm not calling any specific people out, but what I mean by that is, yes, when teams have to go to depth options on the practice squad, it's any other team's practice squad player or any team that's on the couch right now is by default better than the player that's on the practice squad. Like there's no chance.
Not true.
Which is not true. Which is not true. Like Michael Walker definitively right now is a better football player than Miles Jack by virtue of being in shape, by virtue of being in some kind of camp, in some kind of building, in some kind of system, and still actively working. And that's why the Steelers brought him in. And of course, with Miles Jack too, like contract stuff, et cetera, over the offseason. But like, I feel like this happens with pro sports all across the board: football, baseball, hockey, certainly basketball. Like any other team's players that are coming off the bench are automatically better than your favorite team's players that are coming off the bench. Therefore, got to make a move, right? Like there was so much hype from Steelers fans built up about Mark Robinson. And I hate to tell you, but it doesn't sound like Teryl Austin, Mike Tomlin, as of right now, are too excited about having to play Mark Robinson up the middle. This is why Michael Walker is getting a chance. If you look at Michael Walker, you watch the film, he is a leaner, faster, taller linebacker than an Landon Roberts or Mark Robinson are. That's why he's getting a shot, because he can play in coverage. Mark Robinson could be a heat-seeking missile sometimes and stopping the run, but he's not an every down linebacker, no matter how badly some people might want him to be in year 2 of literally playing the position.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Robinson, I think the way I put it yesterday was he's a heat-seeking missile, but he's not a guided heat-seeking missile.
Sure.
There's 11 guys, there's 11 warm bodies on the other side of the ball. He's just looking for somebody to hit right now. I mean, and the play in which AJ Dillon had the 40-yard run is actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Mark Robinson just went in there. I mean, reckless abandon and ran into the block. Now, granted, he hit the blocker hard.
No second thought about it.
But he hit the blocker. I mean, you got to go for the ball carrier. You're trying to hit the blocker. You're trying to fill up the hole and try to get to the ball carrier. That did absolutely nothing. And Dillon was able to squeeze through the hole and get 40 yards out of it. So there's got to be aggressive is good, but it's got to be done in a shrewd manner. And that's just not Mark Robinson's best trait right now. Now, we've seen him put together good actual football in an NFL game. He did it against the Ravens last year. Was aggressive, but again, was shrewdly aggressive for the most part, over pursued at times, but that's part of being a young player. But overall, it was a good performance. The very next week when he played the Browns, he was terrible. I mean, bad. It doesn't surprise me at all that Mike Tomlin and Teryl Austin don't sound excited about Mark Robinson playing, because yes, he could have a couple of snaps where he looks like the best guy in the world. It's kind of like the Fulton Reed. Again, I keep making Mighty Ducks references on podcasts, and
nothing wrong with that.
But it's kind of like the Fulton Reed thing. It's the 1 out of 5 rule. 4 of the 5 times you don't know how to shoot a puck, and then the 1 out of 5 good God, don't get in the way, because that's going top, it's going to go bar down, and it's going to be 100-mile-an-hour slapper.
Mark, yeah, he is. Robert Spillane is having a hell of a year in Las Vegas. But here's the thing. The Steelers had Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander ready to go at their disposal for cheaper. Like, it's easy to sit here today with Holcomb and Alexander out for the year and saying, why didn't they keep Robert Spillane? Why is he coming back? Like, it's easy.
It would have cost more to keep Robert Spillane, even if you kept him as a fourth. And plus, Robert Spillane was an unrestricted free agent. He was going to have the opportunity to go and find something, where he might make a little bit more money. And that's exactly what he did. And if the Steelers weren't in this situation with the injuries, we're not talking about Robert Spillane right now, because we weren't talking about Robert Spillane before Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander got injured.
No. And it's okay. So a couple of people have asked about Darius Rush, right? Like, Darius Rush, rookie cornerback, plucked off of the Chiefs practice squad. Like, keep in mind, he's a guy that was not on the radar before the season started for a reason. Like, the Steelers went and drafted Corey Trice Jr., and of course he got hurt. And of course they had to shift and go get guys like Luke Barku and other guys like that to come off of the practice squad. Now they have a guy like Darius Rush. And maybe it's like shiny new toy syndrome, where like, he's the new guy. He's the fresh face. He's the one that he's literally not the other guy. Like, I think that's what we're thinking about when it comes to Robert Spillane too. Like, Robert Spillane is not Mark Robinson. Robert Spillane is not Michael Walker. Robert Spillane is not Tariq Carpenter. And it's easy to sit here and say, well, if Spillane was here, well, yeah, of course, if Spillane was here, it would be a little easier, or would it? Yeah. Like, Darius Rush being a cornerback, I don't think he's going to play much at safety. Like, if that's what the points are coming down to, I don't think he's going to play much at safety, because right now the Steelers are fine on cornerback depth. Now, if Keanu Neal's hurt, does Patrick Peterson take some snaps at safety, and that forces, so to speak, Darius Rush into a role? Maybe. But you have to consider the matchup too. Rookie quarterback, and a pretty mid one at that, by the way. Like, I'm not too worried about Dorian Thompson-Robinson throwing for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not my concern whatsoever. I'm not concerned over it. I'm
not concerned over it, but you also weren't concerned over Jordan Love being able to throw a forward pass, and he actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did.
But
a couple good plays.
So Randy kind of brings it up, so we can kind of shift focus to the Browns here, because we don't need to be talking 10 minutes about Robert Spillane. Dorian Thompson-Robinson highlights from college look pretty good. He always seemed to keep his feet moving, legs and arm, simulate a gum band pulled and ready to launch. I mean, listen, like, don't let the one performance against the Ravens completely, like, okay, that's the only judgment there. It wasn't a great performance. Barely completed half of his passes through 3 picks. It wasn't pretty. But listen, we've seen the Steelers now. Granted, Mike Tomlin 25. I think it's 25. Somebody mentioned it earlier. Mike Tomlin 25-5 against rookie quarterbacks. But we've seen backup quarterbacks. We've seen with the Ravens, with Tyler Huntley doing it. We've seen Jacoby Brissett do it. Now, granted, those guys had a lot, decent NFL experience coming in, but backup quarterbacks who are able to come in and keep this and play in the same system tend to be the backups that can have the most success against the Steelers, because the one thing the Steelers can always game plan for when they're playing against a Lamar Jackson, or they're playing against a Joe Burrow, or they're playing against a Deshaun Watson, even though Watson is new to the rivalry still, is that they've seen those guys multiple times. They know how to play against those guys. Obviously, when it comes to playing a rookie, you don't have much NFL tape on them. You can really only go off of what they're doing, from the college tape. And now you've got to kind of worry about how he's going to play within the way the Browns do things. What do the Browns do? They love to run the football. So you still got to try to stop Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. That's, the most important thing, but you have to be able to do that while also shutting down Amari Cooper, which, by the way, the Steelers have yet to do this year and last year.
Yeah.
You got to keep David Njoku, under wraps, and that's not going to be easy to do since the middle of your defense is seriously banged up. and Elijah, who is that? Elijah something or other. I can't think of their name. I can't think of their names. Yes, Elijah. I was about to say Elijah Wood. I'm like, that's Frodo. Elijah Moore is third on the Browns with 42 touches. He's becoming more and more of a part of what the Browns do on offense, both in the passing game and occasionally as a runner. So there's a lot of different things the Browns can do, and all Dorian Thompson, DTR. I'm just gonna go with DTR because I'm tired of saying that name over and over again.
Oh, just DTR. Yeah.
All he's got to do is just be a good facilitator and pretty much be Kenny Pickett for them. Don't do much to put them over the top, but don't turn the ball over. If he can do that, the Browns are going to be able to. It's not going to be easy for the Steelers, even with DTR quarterback.
I'm addressing 2 comments here. Steelers7 Girl says, this live is way too condescending for me. That's my bad. And if I sound condescending, it's because I am being a little condescending right now. So we have those moments. It happens. It's okay. No hard feelings. Mr. Malvo says DTR is better than average. Stop downplaying other quarterbacks when Kenny is trash. Okay, I'm not going to go into Kenny. I'm going to use this as a point about DTR. My last memory of Dorian Thompson-Robinson is seeing him getting benched in the second half of the Sun Bowl against Pitt last year down in El Paso in December, where he threw for 3 interceptions and was this close to crying real man tears on the bench after Pitt and Nick freaking Patty, of all people, beat, no disrespect to Nick Patty, beat UCLA, a ranked UCLA team in the Sun Bowl. That's my last memory of one Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So pardon me if I'm not excited to see Dorian Thompson-Robinson, or I have confidence that Dorian Thompson-Robinson can step in for Deshaun Watson and play football at a really high level. That's just not what I'm going to predict. That's my memory of DTR. The Browns offense is a run-first offense. I'm not sure what kind of arm he has. I haven't seen him play too much, as an NFL quarterback. So, look, I'm just going to say this. If that Browns offensive line is any healthy, and now I believe 2 of the 4 starters or 2 of the 5 starters appeared on Wednesday's injury report with like a rest, NIR basically, non-injured related. And that's fine, but there's still a couple that are on the injury report. So it's not like the Browns are coming into this 100% healthy, sans the quarterback either.
No,
so,
they have a lengthy injury report. I mean, but believe me, actually, whenever I was putting together my next opponent piece, which is on DKPittsburghSports.com right now, one of the things that took me the longest to put together was an injury report, because it's not just listing all the names. It's, hey, what's going on with each one? What's the context? How long have they been dealing with said injury? So on and so forth. It takes a long time to put together. It's said a little tongue in cheek, but the injury report took a while to put together because, it's lengthy. So, the Brown, listen, I saw somebody say something like the Browns are coming in confident and the Steelers are coming in scared. No, listen, both teams are going to be coming in with first place is on the line here. The Steelers win. They're 7-3. That's the same record as the Ravens, and they would have a better division record and conference record than the Ravens, hence first place. Browns win. They are also 7-3 with the Ravens. They have a better conference record. They have a better division record, hence first place. Winner of this game, because the Ravens are on a bye, right? Oh, no, Ravens played Cincinnati tonight. That's right. That's why they do play tonight. That's right.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Trey Norwood real quick. Trey Norwood just signed with the Bills practice squad like 9 days ago. So that ship has kind of sailed. But
but if the Ravens lose tonight, whoever wins is going to be But if the Ravens lose tonight, winner on Sunday is going for first place.
The door's wide open. Just forget about in the short term. In the long term, if the Ravens lose tonight and the Bengals win, the door is wide open in the AFC North. And of course, implications for immediate first place on Sunday should the Ravens lose tonight. Yeah. But in a big picture sense, if the Ravens lose tonight, I don't want to say must win, like in the sense of it's week 11 and, teams aren't eliminated quite yet. But for the Ravens and the Bengals, I think tonight's game is a must win for both teams. For the Ravens, it's to separate a little bit and to get a really important AFC North win. And for the Bengals, it's for the reasons that you documented. And you could say the same exact thing for the Browns and Steelers on Sunday, that it's a must win for both teams, right? And it's for the Browns maybe even more so than the Steelers, because now without Deshaun Watson, how good can the Browns truly hold up until the end of the year? I think the Steelers still have some winnable games on the schedule.
Oh, they do, for sure.
Namely, of course, Arizona,
New England.
And New England.
New England
Maybe Seattle as well. Depends on where the Seahawks are at.
Yeah, but that's in Seattle. Cross country. That's not. I mean, granted, the Steelers have done good so far going to the West Coast. So I mean, who knows? Maybe they sweep it. They've already kind of gone against the grain there when it comes to what they normally do on the West Coast. So who knows? Maybe they end up winning that game no matter what. I don't know. But yeah, the Steelers definitely have some winnable games on the schedule here. And they've already got 6. I mean, you talk about if they win 4 more games the rest of the way, you're in playoff picture there. And if those 4 wins are against the right opponents, you may end up getting some good tiebreakers too.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, obviously you want to win. Obviously you want to win your division games and you want to win your conference games, and but right now the Steelers have put themselves in a really, really good spot with what they've done. With how the games have played out for them, and these 2 coming up, I think this is the real like turning point of the season, one way or the other. Either they're gonna this 2-game stretch is either gonna send them in a projection that's gonna be okay. They are as long as they don't just completely fall apart, they're playoff bound, or it's going to be 2022 all over again. They're going to be scratching and clawing and hoping for some tiebreakers come season's end, and you don't want to ever have to do that.
Some people talking about coach of the year. Somebody mentioned Mike Tomlin potentially. Damon says
why not?
Ryans.
Yeah.
Mr. Malvo says the Lions coach Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell would be my favorite. I think Tomlin might be like top 5, top 8 for that award. Like, to me,
yeah.
I would look at Dan Campbell. I would look at Doug Peterson of the Jaguars. I would look at Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings if they make a run, because you lose Kirk Cousins and like that's kind of damning. And yet Josh Dobbs, the pastronaut, it just finds a way. And imagine if the Browns had Josh Dobbs right now, how we would feel about the Browns right now if they didn't cut the cord, so to speak, right after training camp. I mean, I would look at those 3, in my opinion, being Dan Campbell, Doug Peterson, and Kevin O'Connell right now. D'Amico Ryan's certainly deserving of consideration. In my opinion, CJ Stroud is runaway offensive rookie of the year. And for me,
question.
I mean, for me, he's a dark horse MVP candidate. I would put him in that conversation.
If the Texans if the Texans make the playoffs, 100%. I mean, I'm in the PFWA. I get a vote, at least for the PFWA. He 100% will get my vote. Yeah. 100%. I have no problem saying that. The Texans make the playoffs, not even a question. I mean, even with where the Texans are right now, he's like in the conversation. Should be in the conversation. He's been phenomenal.
I believe is he second in the league in passing yards? Right now, I think Sam Howell actually leads the league in passing yards, which is kind of funny to me.
Which goes to show you that winning the passing title really doesn't mean too much.
Sure. And yeah, I mean, Mark says it right here. If the Steelers win the North, Mike Tomlin deserves serious consideration. I would absolutely agree with that.
Best division in football right now.
I would absolutely agree with that. Matt Canada has a chance Cat Canada has a better chance of winning OC of the year. You know what? Let's go to Matt Canada real quick before we get out of here. We went 24 minutes of this show without going into Matt Canada
on a coordinator Thursday.
I know that means something. That means we did okay. That means we're doing okay. I asked Matt Canada, basically, do you think there's a direct correlation between the running game having its 2 best games concurrently this season, as far as running the football, with Broderick Jones being in the lineup? And he kind of brushed it off. Although I think it's pretty undeniable right now that, putting Broderick Jones in there allowed for more pulls, allowed for, him to get out freely, allowed for another blocker to go to the other side of the field. Like, I think schematically things have changed since Broderick Jones has been in the starting lineup. And yeah, I think there is some kind of correlation between how well the Steelers have run it with Broderick in the starting lineup.
Now, I don't know for sure because I haven't actually looked at the data But just from my eye test, I don't think they're running more gap than zone over the past 2 weeks, but I think they're having more success with gap than they had been. And I think Broderick Jones is a big part of that, because a lot of the plays where you're seeing him pull and do different things like that, those are typically gap schemes. Whenever a lineman pulls to attack a specific player, because gap schemes is all about blocking specific assignments. And so I think they're having a little bit more success in those, which is good, because, Jalen Warren is already a good gap runner, but whenever Najee starts having a bit more success in that area, that's when Najee can take another step forward, because Najee's a much better zone runner than he is a gap runner. And so when he starts having success running gap, then it makes Najee better. And then obviously when Jalen's also had some, I mean, the touchdown run he had against the Rams, that was actually a zone run. So seeing him have success in zone runs, I think this is happening. It does kind of predate Broderick, because I kind of look at the running game starting to get things going a bit against the Rams. The Jaguars kind of stifled that a little bit, but the Jaguars also have a really, really good run defense. But I think the Rams game is whenever I first started to see it kind of coalescing together. But I do think, to your point, I do think Broderick is helping put that over the top a bit, because when you're able to seal the edges, that makes things a lot easier for the guards and the center to do their job, especially in zone blocking. And so I think that does help, especially since the Steelers are predominantly an outside zone team.
And then one final coordinator note, Danny Smith, torn labrum.
Dude.
Wow.
I feel bad for him, man. Wow. I torn labrum or torn rotator cuff?
Torn rotator cuff, excuse me.
I have a torn labrum.
Thinking of you. Yeah, I was thinking of you.
No, I have a torn labrum. No.
Yeah, it's a torn rotator cuff, my bad. But still, torn rotator cuff for Danny Smith as a result of that sideline collision, the one Rodney Williams had to pull him off the pile. He kept the gum in the mouth. Credit to him. But he did say that he's grateful Rodney was there. A partial quote here. I've got a lot of metal in my body. I've got to learn how to get the hell out of the way. That is vintage Danny Smith on a Coordinator Thursday, a surprise appearance for Danny Smith. But he said he's doing okay. He's got to get surgery on his shoulder. So we hope for the best.
I just got to say this about Danny. Danny Smith is one of the coolest guys to talk to. Especially because obviously, like, during the season, you don't get an opportunity to talk much with coordinators or position coaches, because they're kind of off limits. But during training camp, it's a lot more open. You can obviously ask to talk to certain coaches, and have those set aside. But, whenever, practice is done for the day, you're no longer at St. Vincent's. Maybe you're at, one of the local bars or something like that. And, I just happened to run into Danny Smith there.
He's not the only one, by the way.
No, he's not. He's a cool guy to talk to, man. He's as cool as the gum that he chews, man. Yeah.
I had a couple of those.
I felt bad for him as soon as I saw that, man.
Not of him of all people. For those that wonder who's Danny Smith, all you have to do is watch any coordinator interview or any interview that takes place on the back of the practice
I know what
field,
you're gonna say.
And listen to the background, and you'll just hear him yelling.
You'll the guy just screaming.
Yep. That's Danny Smith. And yes, Danny, I've seen him out in Latrobe a couple of times in some of those nighttime after training camp. Those are always fun, but those are stories for another day, I would say, Chris. A final thought before we get out of here from you.
Oh, man. Final thought is I'm going a little bit more of a personal route. I saw somebody ask about the foot earlier. It's getting slowly but surely getting better. Still kind of walking with a limp. I don't think I'm going to be playing hockey next Monday, but we'll see. But then a new wrinkle in the Halicke household. My daughter is now with a stomach bug. And so it won't stop. So whoever has the Halicke voodoo doll in the world, stop, just set it down. Let me give me a chance to breathe for a day or three.
My goodness.
So yeah, it's been a fun couple of weeks, man. With the flu and then slap shot off the foot and then stomach bugs. And man, I don't even want to talk about what could possibly be happening from here on out. Oh, did Corey freeze on us? He's not even on the south side today. Oh boy. Corey froze on us. Oh boy. Well, yeah. So Damon says we need to have Ben play this game. He can't lose to the Browns. Yeah, man. It's you'd love to have Ben Roethlisberger in this type of a game, but I really okay. Like legit final thought. If we can get Corey back, possibly, because Corey's just frozen quality Corey. Dude, he didn't even have the South Side to blame him. Like South Side internet, I totally get it. This is a Crisan internet issue. So yeah, that's funny. Let me kind of fix that. There we go. Maybe Corey will rejoin us. Let me see if I get a. Oh, never mind. Corey just said my power went out. Corey's power went out. I don't know what's going on in the on the on where I don't know where he lives. I know he lives just somewhere in the Pittsburgh area. I don't know where he lives. I don't know what's going on there, but man, that's really funny. Swan, the Blue Jay is Lorenz Frozen Jinx. No power Corey. Dude, Corey's getting more and more nicknames than we could possibly try to put. I'll oh wait, here we go. Corey may be coming back. We'll see.
It is never a dull day over here. Let me tell you.
I was like, the first thing I said is you don't even have an excuse of being on the south side today.
Oh, my power flickered. It's back on now. It's all good, but I'm not getting up to go turn my ring light back on. Oh my god.
We're gonna make sure that whenever this is published on YouTube and everything like that for good, that the freeze frame is gonna be your frozen face that you had right when your power went out.
Nobody needs to see that. I love that, Darren. I'm like the ice cream machine at McDonald's, always out of order. I'm always working, but I'm not at the same time.
I need a mic for the some mic drop right there.
Just the
dang.
What is going on with me? What is going on with me? Anyway, let's recover from that. I'm going dark mode the rest of this episode. For
Corey, are you here tomorrow? Are you on the show tomorrow?
I'm supposed to be.
Okay, I just wanted to see, if this is gonna, because we if not, we needed your prediction before we went. But since
I'm supposed to be, I mean, I'll give the prediction. Anyway, I'll give the prediction for tonight. I think the Ravens beat the Bengals, and kind of separate a little bit. I think the Ravens do win that game.
Okay.
Or he has his family member hooked to on a bike hooked to a battery, starring in Frozen 2. Let it go, Darren. Let it go.
Oh man!
All right, let's get out of here.
What's your final thought? What's your final thought, Corey?
Oh, my final thought. Wow. Thursday night college football games don't work. I'm covering Pitt Boston College tonight. That matchup should be okay. It should be an okay
Dino
game.
Tomlin in the house.
Tomlin is in town. Mike Tomlin will be here. I am going to assume he will be shown on the video board and get a thermonuclear level pop from the crowd. So
from the 20K fans that are going to be there.
Hey, there were 17,000 at Yankee Stadium last week.
Ooh, well, it is a ballpark, but still 17,000. Mm-hmm. What does Yankee Stadium hold
for a rivalry game? More than that. I can tell you that much.
Well, I know. Yeah, I know that.
I mean, two bad football teams. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they are playing. They're yeah, but Macshin's different. Macshin is different. Yeah. Macshin is its own entity. Did you watch the Battle of I-75 on Tuesday? It came down to the final minute, and Toledo secured the game-winning touchdown. Lights out in coverage as the newest inside linebacker. That's me. Keep him coming. Keep him coming. Bring it on. I'm down for it. I earned it. I earned it. Congrats to Toledo. Toledo is 10-1. If they win next week, they could get ranked. We'll see. We'll see about that. one of my former beats. I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to see them do well. Demont says we can watch football 7 days a week. Now, I get that. And yes, you can watch football 7 days a week. Does that mean you need to? Let's leave it at that.
I love football, but no, I need my breaks. I enjoy other sports.
It needs to be in the MAC and they'd still get whooped. Anyway.
Especially now that I watch more football than I ever have in my life because of all the film that I watch for my job.
Yeah.
I watch more football than I ever have. Yeah.
I mean, I get to see practices, and it's like, you see football. Football is football. I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Football every day. Oh, yeah.
Like,
you can't do the job unless you don't love football.
We all need a break from everything, right? That's everything in life. Sometimes you just need to take a step back.
Actually, my son's doing a school concert thing tonight, and he apparently has a solo in there. So,
singing?
So
there you go.
I'm
Look,
gonna
natural light coming in.
I'm gonna enjoy that, and then whenever we get home, it'll be and some Jim and a couple guys.
Penguins tonight.
Yeah, Pens tonight too. So whenever we get home, my son's gonna be like, "Can you turn the Penguins game on?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's watch Penguins game."
There you go. Penguins. You had the Penguins game on the other night. I was watching the Battle of I-75. Great show today, despite the technical mishap. I got to go, I guess, reset the clock on my oven and on my microwave, and got to go make sure the apartment is still good here, which we are, but. Sometimes that happens. You get a little malfunction. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 3 p.m. Eastern here on DK Pittsburgh Sports. DK and Ramon coming up at 4 Eastern in about 25 minutes. But
no,
Barbara,
now, I don't.
No, I do not watch the Canadian Football League or any of those.
Only Canadian sport I watch is hockey.
There you go. But for now, he's Chris and I'm Corey. This has been the Southside Beat. Have a good day, everybody. Cheers.